IGN unironically thinks that Fable looks amazing. I would say I'm shocked, but I mean, it's IGN, they're wrong about literally everything.
Let me start by saying that I am borderline blown away by what I've seen from the Fable reboot so far.
Same. It all looked incredibly shit, so wow, I was blown away at how they managed to fail absolutely everything.
New Fable developer Playground Games already had my trust. This is a studio that has produced nothing but one open-world masterpiece after another, but after learning a lot more about what the team has in store for its resurrection of one of Xbox's biggest franchises, I'm even more bullish about where they're going with it. Playground has turned the Forza Tech engine into a medieval British postcard. Combat is multi-layered.
Yes. Nothing hits home like IGN saying medieval British, and there's an Asian woman and there's a black woman that are obviously both strong, independent females that don't need no man. Man, it's... I could not be like that if I tried, but IGN effortlessly just keeps saying the dumbest stuff ever.
Medieval British postcard. Combat is multi-layered. 1,000 NPC townsfolk are waiting to be romanced, co-parented with, divorced from, and landlorded over, and there are chickens abound just waiting to be kicked. Alongside Fable's big coming out party at the recent Xbox Developer Direct, I also spoke with game director Ralph Fulton about the choices the studio has made with this revival, so there's lots to discuss. But first, if you'll permit me, a quick Fable history lesson.
Oh boy.
Right out of the gate in the early 2000s, Fable was always fantastic, even if its early days on the original Xbox got a little extra scrutiny because its director at the time, legendary strategy game developer Peter Molyneux, made crazy promises about players planting acorns that would grow into full-size trees over the course of the campaign. But while that lofty systemic boast never came to be, the game that Lionhead delivered was nevertheless a rich, textured, uniquely British fairy tale that players could meaningfully affect change in, whether their good deeds manifested a literal...
I love how half the people who talk about Fable start this, they say, oh, Fable was good because of these reasons. The choices, the RPG elements, the good, the evil. And this modern Fable is going to be amazing. Will it have any of this? No. No, it won't. But it's going to be good, trust me. It's going to have none of the old mechanics that you loved as a Fable fan, but it's going to be great. Like, how can you unironically say that?
Halo over their heads, their sheer evil caused actual horns to sprout from their skull, or they got married to a townsperson and lived a whole other life outside of the bigger picture quest within the world of Albion. Lionhead arguably perfected the formula in the Xbox 360 sequel, adding a dog who'd be by your side throughout the story, and Fable 3 tweaked it further still while making the questionable in hindsight decision to move the timeline forward by 500 years, thereby changing the entire look and feel of Albion. And then Microsoft, well, they royally screwed the franchise up by trying to turn it into a 4v1 multiplayer game that cost the studio its entire existence.
Wait, this is literally everything that Luke said yesterday. Who's copying who? IGN Luke or Luke IGN? Luke does have a history of stealing, allegedly.
It's a story for another day, and since then, the franchise has been dormant for over a decade. Enter Playground, who produced smash hit after smash hit in Microsoft's Forza Horizon driving series. Fulton told me that Playground was looking to expand and build a second team after Forza Horizon 3. Quote, I don't remember who said the word Fable first, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, that has to be it. That fits so perfectly. It's a series that we adored here and still do. And the conversation went from there, and
yes, surely.
it went pretty fast. I think everybody felt, certainly I know the folks we spoke to on the Xbox side felt really strongly that if a studio were to start working on Fable to pick that up, it had to be a British studio. And the fact that we had this great working relationship, the fact that we were making this game, Forza Horizon, that was increasingly important and successful and had this ambition to scale and to grow, it went pretty fast after that. The studio's adoration for the series shines through in the gameplay it's shown so far.
How? They literally said that they have removed half of the stuff that made Fable into Fable.
Hobbs and Balverines to slay, swords to wield, and spells to cast, sure. And
I mean, look at this gameplay. Does this look fun to you? This looks extremely unfun to me.
To cast, sure. And the humor and
hit enemy, 0 impact. Block enemy's attack was literally 100 times bigger than you, no impact.
British charm look to be there. Look no further than a chicken spell wearing off, reverting the target back to their original form, but still flapping their arms and clucking. Or the chicken armor. You even start the game as a child just like you did in the originals. But where Playground is winning serious points with Fable fans like me so far is in its commitment to the game within the game. The town management aspects baked into Fable's urban areas. You'll be able to buy property, literally all.
Is this just exactly the same So is IGN just saying the exact same stuff we heard the original devs say? Because I'm pretty sure the original devs said the exact same thing. So IGN just took the video of the original devs, added nothing new, and just restated the same things while using slightly different words. Is that what's happening? Because currently I feel I have seen all of this.
All of it, if you can come up with enough gold apparently, and become a beloved landlord or a loathed slumlord. Not to mention a kind boss or a horrible boss, should you purchase any businesses. You can also date and marry all of them, have kids with them, and should it come to it, get divorced. There are also jobs to partake in, like blacksmithing. Where the new Fable breaks from the old one is in the morality. No longer will it be so black or white, Fulton told me. You won't manifest that halo or sprout those horns. Instead...
Yes, which is probably one of the biggest red flags ever. You know, Fable, the game literally known for being good or evil very explicitly. You know, we're a modern gaming studio. We don't need good and evil. Good and evil is just the spectrum. My wokeness whispers me that at night. This is why I love space rocks and algae more than my family. Oh god, listen. Every single person who cannot pass the heat chart test should not be allowed to do anything creative or human rights, honestly, in general. And it's pretty clear that these developers absolutely failed it.
Individual people in each city or town will form their own opinion of you based on how you treat them. Meaning you could be a rich twat, in Fable's own words, while getting hailed as a saint in another one. Better still, one of my least favorite aspects of modern role-playing games, procedurally generated content and all of the generic time-filling tedium it brings with it, is nowhere to be found in Fable.
Yes, surely. With 1,000 NPCs that interact, all of them are handcrafted. Yeah, this sounds like Bethesda's 16 times the detail, but kind of worse, honestly.
Instead, Fulton told me that every NPC is a unique...
Also, the fact that we have heard this, every thousands of NPCs, every NPC is unique, the fact that we literally see this explicitly same black girl like 5 times in the preview, kind of a red flag, not gonna lie. In fact, there's multiple NPCs that we have seen already multiple times.
NPC is a unique, handmade, and fully voiced character. That is so refreshing these days that it gets me extra excited to talk to as many of them as I possibly can once I get a build of Fable in my hands. That goal to make each hero's story unique extends to the larger world of Albion, too. Remember the 2023 Fable teaser that introduced us to Dave, a giant? It turns out that the whole
Yeah, it was incredibly cringe.
setup for the new Fable isn't a Jack and the Beanstalk story. Instead, Dave is, quote, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who finds a magic growth formula. So you'll then have to decide how to deal with him. Will you spare him?
Like, what do you mean he's a gardener? It's like, is that his job position? Like, what does he garden exactly? That doesn't seem like, the way they say gardener doesn't seem like it's a work position. So, is he just getting free government benefits? Is that it? And then he does nothing but, you know, gardens? Like, what are we exactly talking about here? I'm slightly confused.
This means finding a way to return him to normal size and befriending him, or slay him, which will see his giga corpse splayed over a hill just outside of town for the rest of your campaign.
Guys, remember Megaton? Remember Megaton? Guys, Megaton? This is almost like Megaton. Wow.
Negatively impacting surrounding home prices in the process. And so if Dave's foray into gigantism is merely a quest, perhaps that means this Fable isn't as much of a departure from the originals lore-wise as that video had led me to believe. In fact, I
think a lot of things here are lies. The same way that you can create your own custom... Well, he's gonna talk about it because this is just a reskin of a different video, correct? Where does he talk about it? Whatever. The same way that they just inserted the character creator in the last second because people were saying, why is there no character creator? Why we must only play as this ugly woman? It's all lies, I think.
Blank asked Fulton whether or not this is a true reboot or if this Fable is in some way connected to Lionhead's originals, and he had quite a telling answer for a supposed non-answer. He told me, quote, I'm going to avoid that question, Ryan, and I'll tell you why. We touch very lightly on
What a great answer.
Story in the Dev Direct piece, but honestly, what we really wanted to do is come out and speak to the detail in the game and answer all those questions that people inevitably have about the game we haven't answered before. We're going to talk more about story later in the year, so I'm not going to say yes or no to that particular question just yet. What I would say is with this being a reboot, it felt really imperative for us to clear the space to tell a story that we want to tell within Albion, which is why this isn't a sequel, for example. This isn't necessarily connected to the original timeline or events or characters, but we do share lore, and some of that originating lore of the Fable universe is really important to our story. Make of that what you will. So Fable seems to have the look, the humor, the moral choices, the quintessential...
Oh wait, he didn't even mention anything about the character development? Wow. So they made it worse.
British charm. Playground, to put it simply, seems to understand the assignment here. And the studio, as I mentioned earlier, absolutely gets the benefit of the doubt from me on account of its impeccable track record since its inception. What then?
Impeccable track record making racing games.
Am I worried about? There is one thing, and it's a key part of Fable: combat. To be clear, I'm not in any way judging Fable's combat based on what we've seen so far.
Then why do you have concerns? How can you have concerns if you're not judging what we have seen this far? Like, what do you mean? Also, all the combat looks really, really, really bad.
How could I? I haven't played it for myself yet. However...
Ah, yes, the clutch. I mean, at least he says it as it is. I'm too stupid to form an opinion of what my eyes see right in front of me. Like, how could I ever know if a game is bad if I haven't played it for myself? The same way... If someone gives me in a restaurant a piece of shit, I will taste it, because how do I know that it's bad? I'm not saying the caste system had some good points to it, but maybe it did. You know? Maybe it did.
For as talented as Playground is, it's never made a game with combat before. It's not that all of the delightful town management and NPC relationship stuff suddenly means nothing if the combat doesn't deliver, but Fable will have a big
I mean, the fact that we can literally see a man walking like a woman here, yeah, you know what, you got me.
if the combat doesn't deliver, but Fable
In any case, enough yapping, IGN, no one honestly cares. That was IGN, a certified IGN banger, it seems like. Literally nothing was said, but a lot was yapped. 10 out of 10, bye!